Hi, this is so wonderful that we get to meet with Leah Sanfillipo, and she is amazing. I mean, first of all, she went from assisting in the de-icing process of airplanes and handling the cleanup of hazardous fluids to partnering in the creation of the first student-built jet dragster in the world while she was a student at Embry-Riddle, to designing communication subsystems for aerospace technology, to being a propulsion test engineer for Virgin Galactic. Oh my goodness, Leah. First of all, hello.
I'm very excited to be speaking with you.
I mean, thank you so much for joining us because you really are a woman on the move. And with saying all of those things that I just shared about this impressive resume, at what point were you clued in that aviation just needed to catch up to the green movement in sustainability?
So it was actually more recently in my career. Sustainability in aviation isn't talked about openly. It's kind of a very touchy subject. And so I didn't even know that that was something anyone was looking into until I had that opportunity with Virgin Galactic. So I was able to get involved in some of our programs as a lead sustainability engineer. And that's where I learned everything that I know currently and got all of my background in. And I learned how deep of a field it actually is and the silent movement behind making aviation and the space industry green.
Okay, so I mean, that is amazing. This is the time when I'm going to share the screen. And I want to show people, this is actually how I found Leah. She is on her Instagram and under Sustainable Aviation, and she posts things here. And very interesting. She captions so many different things that different countries are the movement that they're making in sustainability. Why don't you tell everyone? I already looked up what your position is, but if you don't mind, I would like for you to please define the role that you play as a propulsion test engineer. And you also say that you're the sustainable liaison. So would you just describe what that is and tell us what a normal day for you looks like?
Yeah, so right now, as a propulsion test engineer, I really focus on material compatibility with oxidizers. So, for example, I look at if a material is chemically compatible with nitrous oxide and what kind of reactions it has when exposed to that. I also work on our propulsion system in general and doing hot fire tests. So qualifying our rocket motor and any upgrades made to it for space travel and helping bring people into space. I was able to get involved in an environmental liaison role with our company. So I'm helping out in both defining where we currently are and where we can go as a space company. We are on the precipice of a whole new market in terms of commercial space travel and ensuring that we're able to make that green and a positive experience and not harm the environment in the process is going to be vital for the future of both our company and the planet.
With Virgin Galactic, it is a travel company that is geared for the public to have space travel. So this is amazing and just so futuristic. Is this something that that you think the paying public will even care about in going in their travel?
I think that they will. I think that as time progresses, a lot of people start to care more about their impact on the world and a lot of the larger companies' impact on the world in general. Sustainability is built on three principles. So you have people, planet, and profit. I think that the public will care. And I think that it's going to be very visible to the public, not just for Virgin Galactic, but for all of the big space companies, whether you're looking at Virgin or Blue Origin or SpaceX. Everyone has an impact on the environment, and it's been shown that the public is watching a lot more closely. So I think that as companies start to transition more towards green engineering, whether you're looking at using sustainable aviation fuels in aircraft that need Jet A or any type of kerosenic based fuel to fly, or if you're looking at rocket motors and you're designing new bio based solid fuels or any type of liquid fuels that are based on green energy, I think that will be more apparent to the public, especially as you start to lessen not only your carbon dioxide emissions or your carbon equivalencies, but as you're looking at the toxic and the volatile compounds that you're creating at lower atmospheres, you're starting to make sure that you're not harming the communities around you during launches. And I think that will be very big in the public interest in the near future.
So do you see any one country doing it more than another? Are you a liaison in that way, or are you a liaison for more the public and these companies? Like, where do you see America, since we're here, where do you see America falling in line with going with this sustainability?
I think America is participating just as much as other countries. If you look at organizations such as ICAO or IKEA or the AIA, you start to see a culmination of organizations that are beginning to work together and countries that are beginning to work together hand in hand to ensure that all aspects of sustainability in aviation are tackled. It's definitely not something that just one company or even one country can attack itself. It has to be a worldwide effort to really look at these issues.
Right. And that was what I was leading to with that question. And so, and I'm going to just go back to, just so I understand and so that it's clear, because when I think of liaison, I really do think of a translator from one party to another. You're the mediator, so to speak. So am I correct in thinking that you translate this to someone, to another group, so that they understand the importance of this? And if so, would you just clarify it just a little bit more for me so that it's there?
Yeah, so when I'm doing environmental liaison work, I'm essentially the communication between leadership and engineers. Both different groups of people have very different communication styles, and it takes people who are able to communicate and understand what both parties want in order to start bringing some of these changes to fruition. So I make sure that the leaders understand what the engineers are capable of doing, and that the engineers understand where leadership wants to take these new changes.
Oh my gosh, you are so valuable. Oh my goodness, I know how important that is, just because I'm more on the creative side, and to try to speak to someone on the corporate side to try to get them to understand my own pie in the sky type of ideas, they may look at me like, oh, that's really sweet. But so you are so valuable. I do want to talk a little bit more about that, though, as well, because you being a woman and how valuable that is. How have you found that you have more success just where the companies are just focused on the actual mission and the job, or have you found that you have there may be a little bit more of a need to have a more woman friendly type of environment? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I haven't run into any particularly strong issues on whether being a woman has hurt me or helped me. I think that there have been instances in my life where I've been told, women are just getting these jobs because they're trying to diversify the field, or you're only in this position because you're a woman. And I think it takes a lot of effort to really ignore those type of comments. It's not easy, definitely. It takes a lot of work, but just finding the passion in yourself and making sure that you know what you're doing is correct and that you're doing everything you can to be both the best engineer, pilot, um, environmental voice, anything that you're really passionate about, and taking that in stride and not letting any of the negative voices get to you. That's really the biggest challenge and the most rewarding part of it. Um, I don't think that there necessarily is a lot of just handing women jobs because they're women, but um, I think that having that diversity of voices in the field makes a big difference.
I want to tell you how important what you just said is, because you are basically saying your mindset is what creates the environment and the journey.
It
And
is.
I think that speaks volumes because, I looking up the various businesses, even the competitors of Virgin Galactic, they don't have enough ratings for women, but there is diversity in the sense of where it's assumed that it's mostly male and males of color, of things of that nature, but there isn't enough for information and ratings for women. And so for you to say that, it really does put the focus on making sure that you make up your mind on what you want to do, be passionate about it, and not let anything stand in the way of that, even though there may be a few comments here and there that will say whatever. But thank you very much for saying that. I just want to say that first and foremost. Speaking as a woman of color, where many times I would hear things of, oh, well, you have this because you're a Black woman, and how that has been a double-edged sword. And so to hear something like that coming from a woman who has been in male-dominated jobs, that you're like, yeah, I have, but I just love what I do. That's so powerful. And I really want to make sure that the students understand the strength in that comment that you made. So that's why I'm staying on that for a little bit more. So having said that, talking about the youth and the students who are going to be watching this, you started with a love for engineering then, I guess, right? Or the mechanical aspects of just parts, taking things apart and looking at fluids and chemistry and things of that nature, correct? So what
Yeah.
would you recommend for young minds who may be inquisitive, but they're unsure and not confident about the knowledge that you have had, but they may want to go into aerospace or sustainability? Like, what would you say to them?
I would say that you should just try everything. Um, the biggest learning experience is trying something new and failing at it. You're going to
Mm,
learn what you're good at. You're going to learn what you're bad at. You're going to learn what you love and what you don't like. And finding all of those aspects is really important to finding something that you can really work on in your career and make a positive impact on. It's not just, going into a job, being able to do something well, coming home, and that's the end of your day. It means so much more when you're able to go into something and be truly passionate about it and create that positive experience for both yourself in your career, but also others. And it will translate into your work. And you're going to find, things that you thought you would love, you're going to hate, and things that you had no idea you were going to be interested in, you're going to find out you're extremely passionate about. So just really try everything.
women or pilots who are not in the field of sustainability, but they are actually in the field, obviously, of aviation, actively working, what can they do in their everyday life to lean more towards that mindset of sustainability, to make what they do more sustainable?
I would say the biggest first step would just be education. It's such a new field in the aviation industry that being able to educate not only yourself, but have these conversations with the people around you, whether they're pilots or air traffic controllers or just people in the engineering side of the industry, being able to have those sustainable based conversations will increase both the awareness and everyone's education on what's actually happening. And so I think once people are more educated on what the industry actually looks like from that viewpoint, more sustainable decisions will be able to be made.
Ah, wonderful. Mary, do you have any other questions that you would like to ask?
Yeah, I've got one. Leah, what's the most fun part of your job? For you?
Off the record, blowing things up.
That's awesome. That is awesome. What
on the record.
Yeah. On the record.
Honestly, yeah. The most fun part of my job that I really enjoy the most is just getting to work on new designs, increasing the technology in the field, and working with people who are just as passionate about it. Finding people who love the engineering behind space travel and aviation as much as I do, and getting to work on that new development is just the most exciting thing in the world.
What would you like to eventually be able to do in your field? What's your dream job or your dream task or project?
My dream project would be developing a totally bio-based rocket motor, something that is carbon negative in its full life cycle, that we can use and reuse over and over again, to help bring just everyday citizens to space. I think increasing the world's viewpoint and access to space is very important, and being able to do that sustainability would be incredible.
I hope you get to do it.
Me too.
Me too.
Oh my gosh. And I love that blowing up thing. Love it.
Thank you,
Leah,
Leah.
it has been an absolute delight. You are so inspiring. I wish my daughter was here to have witnessed this. You are such an inspiring woman, and I wish you nothing but the best, and hope to see you in these in more titles and have you fulfill your dream. Thank you so much for this time.
Great. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun today, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. So
Absolutely.
great.
Absolutely.